good morning, and welcome to episode number 347 of Simplifying Live with me, Shashank. I'm your host and the CEO of Simplifying. Yesterday in Halifax, I had the privilege of signing the 10,000th copy of Soar. My book Soar has been out for about 1.5 years or so, and I think it's done decently well, inspired a lot of people in aviation and beyond, and I keep getting lots of emails. But I had some very interesting discussions yesterday after we held an auction for the 10,000th copy of Soar, where we raised $780 for a local food bank in Halifax area. Thank you to the super enthusiastic response from the audience at the ACI Custom Excellence Summit for that auction. I'm humbled and privileged to have shared this moment with everyone. But on the sidelines, I was having lots of conversations with people who were reading the book as well as asking me questions. One of the questions was, hey Shashank, this is great, but why don't you do an airport version as well? Perhaps that's a good idea for a second edition. Because currently Soar features 8 airlines from around the world which have done very well in building a solid brand over a long time, and it discusses secrets that these airlines have used to maintain such a strong brand. The question is quite natural, coming from airport executives whom I was speaking to yesterday, because yes, they can learn from airlines, but they'd love to have airport examples and case studies as well. Point well taken. That's one idea. Another idea was suggested by Max on my LinkedIn page when I shared about the 10,000 copy being signed, where he said, hey, in the second edition, perhaps you can share how airlines are doing CSR, and perhaps a chapter can be dedicated to doing airlines doing good thing in their own community, in supporting their own communities. And I thought, hey, that's a good idea too. But the best of the conversations, one of the best ideas for a second edition came from a person called Ian Webster. Ian is an industry veteran, especially in the loyalty space, and he met me in London at the launch of Soar, and he said, the next book should be called Plummet. I said, what do you mean? He says, well, this is called Soar, the next one should call Plummet, and it should have airlines that went bankrupt and lessons other airlines can avoid, and lessons other industries can avoid. And I thought, that's a very good idea, Ian, because currently I'm showing things airlines can do to succeed like the airlines focus in Soar. What if there's a sequel which features airlines that have gone bust, and there are a lot of them, and things airlines can do to avoid that same fate? And the question to Ian was, so if they've already gone bust, who do I interview? Because for this I had conducted about 200 hours of interviews, visiting almost every single airline's headquarters. And he said, well, you can interview me because I've worked with a lot of airlines that have gone bust. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep that at the back of my head. So at the end of 10,000th copy being signed, certainly it's quite exciting to think about a second edition, but I have to tell you that this was a lot of work, over 18 months in which I was almost fully dedicated to this, thanks to my very strong team who were handling all the client projects and consulting and training and conferences. It's probably the hardest thing I've done in my life, work-wise, and a second edition also sends shivers down my spine just thinking about it. So, having spoken to my publisher, Idea Press Publishing in Washington, D.C., here's what we're going to do. We're going to come up with special editions of Soar as opposed to second edition of Soar right away. A special edition is one like this, which was done for WestJet in Canada, which has the WestJet title, the WestJet colors, a foreword by WestJet CEO, and a dedicated WestJet chapter, WestJet Cares, as well as photos from WestJet. This specifically was done for WestJet employees to showcase to them not only lessons from the best airlines in the world, but also a third-party perspective, an independent perspective of WestJet itself and why the brand is so strong. The publisher believes, and I feel as well, that this is currently a better way to go, where we can do special editions for multiple airlines or other organizations in which there's a dedicated chapter on that airline and the rest of the cases from Soar at the back of it, produced specifically for that organization. I think it makes great sense for airlines celebrating 100 years, lots of them are doing that in the next few years, to other organizations which are in the B2C business as well. And it saves me a bit of effort in writing a whole book. And once I think I've done a few more of these, I can compile them into a second edition. So that's why, yes, there's going to be a next edition, but no, there won't be a second edition, probably just some special editions. So I hope that helps answer some of the questions and some of my thinking that I wanted to share with you today. Meanwhile, if you haven't got a copy of Soar, get it at simplysoar.com or on Amazon. And if you have read it, I'd appreciate it if you could post a review on Amazon. Thank you very much for all the support. 10,000 copies signed is a huge milestone, and I'm humbled that the book has impacted and given insights to so many people in aviation and beyond. Love to hear your thoughts on the episode on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. Meanwhile, you guys have a fantastic day, and I will catch you tomorrow. Till then, have a great one. Bye-bye.